Hi, third graders. Welcome to grade 3. We're doing simple house geometry today. And we're remembering the words that we've been using this week of points, lines, line segments, rays, and angles. But first, let's have a joke. Why did the boy eat his math homework? Give up? Because his teacher told him it was a piece of cake. So silly. For our lesson today, you're going to need paper, pencil, a ruler, cardboard, paper, or whatever you used as a straight edge, and also the simple house picture geometry lesson. If you can't print it out, that's okay because you can just copy it down on a piece of paper and I'll show it to you. So pause for a minute while you go get these. All right. This is what we've been talking about this week. Can you remember what the name of that first thing is? It's a point. That's right. And do you remember what we did with our body to show a point? That's right. We put our fist out. What's the next thing called? A line, because it goes on and on in both directions forever. And how did we show it with our body? That's right. We stretched our hands out and our fingers out straight. What's the next one called? A line segment, because it has those two end points. And how did we show it with our body? That's right. We had our fist at both ends while our arms were stretched out. What's the next one? A ray, because it has an end point at one side and it goes on and on forever on the other side. Do you remember how we made it with our body? That's right. We had both our arms stretched out, but one side, my hands were straight, and the other side, I had a fist. And then the last one, what is the name of that? It is an angle. That's right, because it is a point where the two rays meet at the vertices. Do you remember how we made it? That's right. And remember, we said it's just kind of like baby shark, mama shark, or grandpa shark. Wonderful. Well, when I left you last time, you had an exit ticket and it said, circle the box that has two rays and one line segment. So let's check it. Let's look at the first box. Does it have two rays and one line segment? No, it has one ray and two line segments. So this one is not correct. Let's look at the next box. Does that have two rays and one line segment? No, it has a ray, it has a line, and it has a line segment. So we say that one is not correct. Let's look at the next box. Does it have two rays and one line segment? Ooh, I see an angle, a ray, and a line segment. Nope, still doesn't work. Let's look at the last box. Does it have two rays and one line segment? Yes, it does. So that was the correct answer. I wanted you to look at these. These are called blueprints, and blueprints are used by architects and engineers to plan out how to build houses. We see a boat here. We see probably some kind of robot, and they always have to plan out before they can build the actual thing. And so these are called blueprints. And when I'm looking at them, do you see what we've been talking about this week? Do you see lines? I see lots of lines. Do you see some points? How about some line segments? How about some rays? And how about some angles? Okay. So today we're looking at a picture of a house. And if you need to, if you haven't been able to print out the picture, pause for a minute and print it out. Just copy it onto a piece of paper. Okay, if you are ready, let's go. So I'm looking at my picture, but here are the directions. I have to use that drawing to answer the following questions. Now it says points. There are several points in this picture. For example, the corners of the chimney are points B and C. Whoops. Okay, so now question 1 says, name the 2 points that are the corners of the house. And you can pause if you need more time. Number 2 says, name 2 points that are in the sun. And number 3 says, name 2 points that are in the road. And when you're finished, let's move on to line segments. Line segments. There are several line segments in this picture. For example, one side of the chimney is line segment CD. There are 2 ways to write a line segment. So you can either write it with the words line segment CD, or you can write CD and put a line over top of it. So number 5 says, name the 2 line segments that are part of the house. And once again, if you need more time, just push pause. Number 6 says, name 2 line segments that are in the road. And number 7 says, name 2 line segments that are on the door. All right, let's move over to lines. An example of a line in this picture is line FFGG, right there. Lines can be written in 2 ways. Either I can write the word line FFGG, or I can write FFGG and draw a line over top of it. So question 8 here says, name 1 other line in this picture. Remember, a line has to go on and on forever. All right, are you ready to check your work? So it says, name 2 points that are in the corners of the house. Well, there were actually 4 that I saw. And I wrote either, you could have chosen any of 2 of those, point F, point H, point N, or point O. Then number 2 says, name 2 points that are in the sun. Well, once again, there are lots of points. And you could have written either point R, point S, point U, or point X. And the last question says, name 2 points that are on the road. Well, there were several. So you could have chosen any of those to write. You just needed 2 of them. Now let's look at line segments. Name 2 line segments that are part of the house. Well, when I look here, I can see, oh, there's 4 that are part of the house. So you could have written any of them. I wrote down line segment ON, or I have line segment NH. Then it says, name 2 line segments that are in the road. Well, I see 3 in the road, but you only had to choose 2 of them. I wrote down line segment AABB, or you see the other way I wrote it, line segment EEFF. Number 7 says, name 2 line segments that are on the door. And I see those 2. And I wrote line segment JM or line segment IK. Now for lines. Number 8 says, name 1 other line in this picture. And I see the line right there. So I wrote line YZ, or I could have written it with the line over top and just YZ. Wonderful. How did you do? Let's look at the next one. The other side talks about rays. So array, an example of array in this picture is ST. Rays can be written 2 ways. I either have the word ray ST, or I draw the ST and an arrow over top of it. Okay, so you're supposed to name 3 other rays in this picture. And once again, if you need more time, just pause the video. Let's move to angles. An example of an angle in this picture is angle PAG. And angles can be written several ways. I either write it with the word angle PAG, or I can draw an angle and write PAG, or I could just say angle A, because A is where the vertex of the angle is, or I could write the angle picture with the letter A, always using the middle point. So right now it says, name 2 other angles in this picture. Hint, look at the roof of the house. Now, like I said, if you need more time, just push pause. Let's look at right angles. A right angle is a special type of angle that creates a square corner. An example of a right angle is angle NOF. Remember that O, the vertex, is in the middle. So number 3 on this side says, name a right angle that is found in the chimney of the house. Number 4 says, name 2 right angles found in the door. And number 5 says, name 2 other right angles on the house. So if you need more time, just push pause. So let's go and check our work. Okay, there were lots of rays here that I could have chosen. The 3 other rays, ray RQ, ray UV, and ray XW. For angles, the 2 other angles in this picture, I saw this one, and I had angle APG or angle P because the P was the vertex. And then on the other side, I see angle AGP or angle G because G was where the vertex is. Now for right angles, the right angle that is found in the chimney of the house, there were two, and you could have, so I wrote angle EBC or angle B. Two right angles found in the door, I wrote angle MJI or just angle J because J was the vertex, and angle KIJ or just angle I because I was the vertex. Okay. And the last one says, name two other right angles on the house. Well, there are lots of right angles on the house. So two that I wrote were angles OFH or angle F because F was the vertex, or angle ONH or angle N because N is the vertex. Okay, wonderful. Well, now if you've enjoyed yourself, you might want to look into more about designing and being an architect. And I would invite you to go on a virtual field trip to the Smithsonian Learning Lab. In there, you're going to find some other pictures to look at, to see blueprints and other houses and rooms, and finding our points, lines, angles, ray, line segments. And then there's some fun activities you might want to do with your family. So that's all for now. And I know you're going to enjoy what Miss Manley has ready for you tomorrow. Bye.